Mystik U #1. Elisa Whitney, or is that silent K? Is it just Whitney?
I think it's just Whitney.
Just Whitney, okay. Elisa Whitney, writing, and Mike Norton and Yishan Lee on art. So this is the Magic Hogwarts DC edition where young Zatanna goes to magic school and ends up with various other characters that sort of some lesser known than others. Like I knew some of these characters, I didn't know all of them.
That's my biggest takeaway. Is I feel like they write them as if we should know who they are, and then I don't know who they are.
Well,
and for me, that says a lot because
Yeah.
I run pretty deep, and even the magic side of DC is my weak point. Like I usually go to Connor for that, but
Yeah, which full disclosure, he did read this on his bus ride and did mention that he loved it. So it's a shame he's not here to stick up for it because I wasn't really feeling this either. In fact, I have a confession to make.
You didn't like it.
Not only did I not like it, I didn't finish it.
Oh, Pete, you didn't finish it.
But so here's what happened, Matt. Right, you go through. There's a little bit at the start where the world seems to be ending. So Zatanna gets zapped back to teenage years, and she's going to this magic school. Rose takes her there because her dad gets taken away. He goes to hell because she accidentally sends him to hell. But she goes to this Mystik U, and she's meeting the characters, and I'm like, okay, can I get what it's trying to do here? Like, okay, I know who Faust is, but I'm not really sure who some of these characters are. Obviously, Enchantress I'm familiar with, but so they're doing this thing. And it got to the point where some stuff had happened, and then one of the characters, I think it was Enchantress, was eavesdropping on the adults out at another building, this older building. And at this point, I'm like, oh man, I really don't like this book. I really want this to be over. And I'm like, okay, where am I in the book? How many pages have I got left? And I checked, and I was just before the halfway point. And I went, nope, put it down, and didn't look back.
It picks up a lot at the end. So if you
really? Okay.
Go back and finish it when you have some time. My main problem again came from I feel like I should know who these characters are, and I feel like we picked up the story while another story was going on. But so I feel like there's plot points that we should be aware of, and they try to make a big deal of. So like we first meet Zatanna, and she's doing her stage show in Vegas with her dad, right? But she's talking backwards. Okay, that's how she interacts with magic. That's Zatanna's thing. But she's completely unaware that magic is real. Like when she sends her dad to hell, it's because she says it backwards, and these demons pop up, and dad goes to fight them, and he disappears. But she's completely surprised that something happened. Why is she talking backwards if there's no reason for it?
I think it's just a part of the act.
Yeah, see, but like
because she's helping him with this magic act, and she thinks it's all fake, and like he says, I think he even says he has a line where he says something like, "Oh, she always does things backwards or in reverse." And so either she always does it as part of the act, or she only does it at this particular point to make fun of him, or not make fun of him, but kind of a defiant thing, because he said that.
Yeah, but if that's the point, if she's always talking backwards and that's how she uses her magic, then shouldn't she be doing magic all the time and shouldn't be surprised?
That's so obvious. No. So basically, the reason why it works when it does is it's not just that she talks backwards, is that she taps into her part. So basically, the reason why it happens, why I get sent to hell when she says go to hell, at least the way I'm reading it, because this is typically how this goes, is because she felt strongly about that statement. She's mad at him, so she says it with meaning, she says it with feeling, with passion. So it's kind of like how in any other story where like X-Men First Class, Magneto's trying to turn the big satellite, and Xavier's like, no, you have to tap into your rage and your love, both of them equally, to access it properly. So I think that's what it is. I think it's just a case of she this is the first time she's accidentally done it because she tapped into like an emotion kind of thing. But I mean,
I don't know. I kind of would have preferred it if she had to learn. You know what I mean? Like, there's other ways to get there. I think that weren't.
I mean,
as there.
I think it's fine in theory, and I think a lot of what the book is doing is fine in theory. I just think it needs to slow down its pace and make me actually like the characters a bit more, because I wasn't getting anything from any of them. Not really.
No. I mean, Sargon's there. I do like the new character, but I can't remember her name. Her mom's a doctor. I think it's Pia. And so she, her mom found out that this Mystik U wasn't an Ivy and stopped caring, because that's all she cared about. She doesn't care if it's a magic school because it's not an Ivy League school. And so I like how she approaches magic with like the scientific awe. Like, hey, I'm going to figure all this out, because that's how I interact with the world. And then just the Sargon thing with his emerald, and like, I love Harry Potter. Like, it's one of my big fandoms. You know, we discussed, and I feel there's some beats here, but it feels half baked.
Me not so much. I'm not a Harry Potter guy.
Yeah,
I don't hate it, but I'm just kind of indifferent to it.
But it does pick up at the end. So you keep seeing like this muck monster, like this like goo, like ectoplasm, and it keeps popping up at the school, and you think it's a threat, and so the kids go look for it, and they come to find out that no, it's this other dimensional creature that's showing up, to go to the school too, because it doesn't have anywhere else it belongs. So, there's a bit of an X-Men vibe to it too, and it's fine. But yeah, it feels very half-baked.
And I think
throughout.
if they nailed that feeling, I'd be into it. Like, I'd be into them sort of like discovering what they can do, and like. But I think they had to make me like the characters first. And I think it's amazing that I read like 20 pages of this and didn't get to this Slimer. So that's so pacing's clearly an issue.
Yeah, and they try to play with like Sargon and Faust. It's Felix Faust's son Sebastian, but he's like Cyclops, can't take off his glasses, like.
Yeah, I mean, for the record, like I gave up in this one halfway. I didn't necessarily intend to not go back to it. I just never did. Yeah. I would never do that with a regular sized issue, but because this was double sized, I got to that halfway point, and I was like, "Oh God, no!"
Being a prestige has hurt it because we know we're only getting 3 of them, But I feel like if this was like a 6-issue mini, you could have slowed it down and explored it a little bit better.
Well, it's not so much that you'd have slowed it down because you still have the same amount of pages, but it would have forced them to put a hook in the first half of it. Whereas here, the first half of it, because they know you're reading the full 50 pages or whatever it is, they feel like they can wait until they get to the main plot of it. Whereas if they were forced to put it into 6 individual issues, they'd be saying, no, this first 20 pages is going to decide whether or not someone buys issue 2. So we have to. Structure it in a way that works for that. Now, obviously, we're not against prestige issues as a format, because obviously, being Supergirl, that was fantastic. That
was 4 though, right? Because this is 3. Which
it was 4. Yeah.
Yeah, and so was Deadman, right?
No, Deadman was 3. Okay.
So Supergirl was the one that was 4.
Yeah. Okay. So it can work with 3 or 4. I mean, it can work with 2. It just depends how long your story is. But I think it's just a case of not pacing it for the format that we're writing for.
Yeah.
And I felt that.
Yeah. And I'll probably read 2, but I'm not, or issue 2. I'm not going to make a point of it though. Like if we have a busy week.
Yeah. I probably will not, because I've not even finished the first issue. So
that makes sense. Reading it, I was kind of like, this isn't Pete's thing, because you have a very, you like magic in a certain package, and here I didn't feel like it was there. And again, we didn't really even get to touch on the magic. Like, there's this council of elders that work at the school, and you get the point that some of them remember before they had, the end of the world. And we kind of skipped over the main premise is like, there's one person that's basically going to betray the entire universe. That's one of these 5 students. That's Enchantress, Zatanna, Sargon, Faust, and Pia.
Yeah, it's kind of a Terminator Days of Future Past story, because it's basically rewound time to now to figure out who's going to do it so they can stop it in the future. So that's basically the gist of it. But
but yeah, so and then it plays out. I think you kind of see the adults going at it, hinting at bigger things, but again, there's not enough of it there. I wish it just solely would have been, this is a new universe. Yeah. This is where the kids go and learn magic in DC. Kind of like being Super was set in its own world. We had Ron Swanson, Pa Kent, basically. Like, versus trying to play with a little more familiar and ending up with this.